I'm going to get right into it. Welcome to the Fit Like Krys Podcast. Today we're talking to someone who's been consistent. And just like our last episode with a crew member, I think I called it consistency, not constant, consistent or something like that. But that this is another example. And every client that I have on the podcast, there is a similar thread. And the reason why I want to have you on is because different voices inspire different people. And ultimately my goal with this podcast is to just help someone's life become a little bit easier by either A, knowing they're not alone, or B, them, figuring out some way to do something that maybe they haven't tried before. So today we're having one of our members who's, I can't even describe the value that you bring to the community. Not only FLK method, but bikini boot camp as well. And everybody loves you. I love when you come to in-person events. Today we're going to talk a little bit about her journey, for lack of a better word. But before we get into it, I would love you, Christina, to just tell the people who you are. Maybe start with who you are, where you're from, how you found FLK, a little bit of basics, and then let's start to get into your fitness health journey. And I'm going to do something I don't know if anybody ever does. I'm eating on a podcast because I'm hungry. Yep. And you talk.
Perfect. Well, you've already made me kind of cry. Like, stop. I'm Christina Salisbury, Simply Salisbury on Instagram, on all the FLK Fit Like Krys posts. I've actually found you through a friend of mine who lives in Jersey, in Morris County. But she was following you for a while and she had been posting some things.
Who is it?
And I jumped on it. I don't think she's a member anymore. Her name's Jamie. Jamie Vergara.
Why do I not know that name? That's weird. Does she have another last name?
No, I don't know that it was when you were like pushing membership. This was in 2020.
Okay, so maybe when I was just doing my challenges or something.
Yes. This was back when you were doing challenges and I would, comment on her stuff and whatever. And we were talking about it and she's like, join on, jump on, like do them. She does them all the time. And the first one that I did was a sculpting season challenge in 2020 when you were like messaging everybody on Instagram, all of the checklists. Girl, I don't know how you did that.
I don't know.
That was crazy.
It was crazy. And that's one, I just posted this thing the other day. Like it was like some meme of like, how do you do it or don't doubt me or something like that. It's like, literally, I'm crazy. I will do things that no. And I remember that. I remember when I did those challenges, I literally would be DMing. And this is when hundreds and hundreds. I remember my biggest challenge, I think was my second one during COVID. It was over 1,000 people. I was DMing people the checklist. Anyway, go on.
That's insane.
Insane.
So I followed you and I actually had to go back and look and get the dates because it's all in the Instagram messages. I followed you and did checks and challenges for 9 months before I joined. So I joined FLK Method in December of 2020. And those conversations still made me laugh reading and looking back at them. I don't remember why, other than maybe COVID, because I was going to a gym regularly-ish, but not like lifting so much. I love the Zumba, the cardio. I love the interaction kind of classes. And so I needed something. And that's when I joined and I was like, let's just do it. And I wasn't working at that point. I live in Milford, across the river in the woods. And I just wanted something. I was a stay-at-home mom. I had 3 kids at home at the time. I have 4 kids, but I still have 3 at the time at home. And I drive a school bus. And I also am training people to get their CDL, their Class B license. And that takes up and consumes a lot of my time.
Yeah. Your schedule has changed a lot in the past 3 years. And that's one of the key components to consistency is consistently prioritizing your well-being, which you've done. And that looks and feels different from time to time. And what it's not is perfect. It's far from perfect. And again, that's another reason why I wanted you and anybody who comes on here to share about. I would love to maybe start with or continue with, what does fit or being healthy mean to you today? And has it changed over the years?
Oh my gosh, it's totally changed over the years. When I started, it was just to get things done, to have fun, to do them. I wasn't as focused on a goal. Like I've always had this image in my mind of what I think I should look like based on what other people think I should look like. And that's a mentality that I just recently found, that what I wanted to look like wasn't based on what I wanted. It was based on what other people were telling me. I did nothing.
Zoom was so excited about that revelation that it decided to give us fireworks. For those of you not watching the video and listening to the audio, full on fireworks. Early July 4th just happened on Christina's screen.
That was awesome. So the health and the fitness and the journey became more than just something physical for me. And I can't really pinpoint where that happened at, but I know that when doing BBKs, because you talked about that, the first one that I did, I was like all in all the time. I got exhausted. I was so drained and exhausted because we would get the checklists and I would do everything every day.
Yeah.
And that's the constant side. Mm-hmm. You can't, I mean, maybe somebody out there who's psycho can, but I can't maintain the 100% constantly.
Right.
And it's been a journey over the last couple of years of finding who I am and what I want. And that image that was portrayed to me and put in my mind of what I should look like is more of what I should feel like now. And the scale still gets me sometimes. Sometimes it really peeves and pisses me off. Mm-hmm. Like it did in the last BBK. I told you that. Like I'd come on and we did our midway check-in and I was feeling super great. I was like, I've been getting this done. I've been consistent. I feel really good about my choices. And then I get on the scale and I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And it takes a mental toll. It really does. And so that scale, the biggest piece of advice that I could give to anybody on any journey, whatever it is, stop measuring your worth on the scale.
Yeah.
Because that's not what you're worth. What you're worth is inside.
Yeah.
And what I found is I'm happier when I get up in the morning and I go for a walk.
Yep.
And I feel more accomplished when I get things done and I move my body. And it's more of I'm not going to be able to do all of this all of the time, but I can do most of this all of the time. And I can do all of this some of the time.
So let's recap.
It was a lot.
Yeah. And you had the really good points that I want to just emphasize here. So my whole business and what I do and my community, and this community is the F in FLK is fit, but I've said since day one, fit doesn't look a certain way. It feels a certain way. And that's, I'm so happy to hear people repeat that, because that is the thing that helped me also celebrate and take care of myself as opposed to punish myself. Because if you're constantly focused on it looking a certain way, you will never get there, because there's always kind of something to do. Where when it comes to feeling good, you can kind of easily decipher, like, do I feel good today or not? Do I feel good tomorrow or not? And I think that was a really good, important thing that you said about reflecting on, moving in the morning, whether it's a walk, a workout, whatever it is. Like, I feel good when I do that. And the other thing you said that's really important for people out there to hear is you felt good because you're getting sort of into your summer routine, but then you stepped on the scale and literally because of a number that made you feel not good anymore. So for anybody out there that I always challenge people when they're using the scale as a, because you can use it, right? It's like one piece of the puzzle. But if you're feeling really good, why do you need it? What is it telling you? Is it going to help you in some way? Because if it's whether it makes you feel good or makes you feel bad, it's still impacting how you feel. But in the end, it
Yep.
really doesn't play this role of, it plays more of a toxic role. It's like a toxic boyfriend, you know? That's what the scale is just like a toxic relationship. And some people don't have an issue with it, but we're not talking to those people right now. Right now, we're talking to the people who are maybe weighing themselves, once a month or more. Or just some people do it every day. I have clients that do it
Yeah.
every single day, and I used to do it every day. And I just know that it can help people stay at ease, but if it's helping you stay at ease, know that it can also make you feel the other way too, right? So
Yep.
giving it that power and what you said about not allowing the scale to define your value or who you are is such an important thing that people, women specifically, need to hear more.
Right. Right. It's
Yeah.
this scale is just, I used to be like that every day, every morning, pull it out, weigh myself every morning. And it was hard. That was a hard habit to break,
Yeah.
but it wasn't, what good was it doing me? All I would see was the scale move up and down, up and down,
Because
up
that's
and
what
down.
it does, right? Because that's what it
It
does. It
does.
moves up and down. And then the other thing you said, which is it's still so interesting to me that so the method that I use is the checklist method. And when people first become part of the community or they do their first bikini boot camp,
Hmm.
they have that do all the things all the time, right?
Yep.
But like the sole reason of why I create a checklist is so you don't have to do all the things all the time. But still, I'm like, it's 8 out of 12, right? It's
Right.
not, I literally, and I also do say to people, listen, the more you do, the more results you will get, but that's not sustainable. Let me
No.
make that very clear. So it's actually better to, and it also depends. Like you can, for you, you have to define, and that's why I was asking you, what does being fit mean to you today? Like if you had to define fit and a healthy lifestyle for Christina today, what does that mean?
You did ask that, and I don't think I answered it. So
You did. We're answering it right now. We're
sort of,
answering it.
well, sort of. Fit for me, and here's where I might not even still answer you because it's different every day.
That's the
Fit for me,
definition.
fit
That's
for
so
me is
good.
different every day. I can get up one day and look, first of all, I'm not a runner. I know you say you're not a runner. I'm not a runner. We've talked about this. I don't run.
Mm. We are the no run club here. I'm with you.
You want a no runner friend? I will be that friend.
Yes. We don't
More
run.
power to you if you're doing it. More
Yeah.
power to you. It's not
Great.
me. But fit for me one day might look like cereal. Actually, I don't even like cereal anymore. Oatmeal, like some sort of like a breakfast, like balanced meals throughout the day,
Mm-hmm.
and a couple of movements here and there because I'm just not feeling it. I'm not I'm not feeling that 100%. Did you say this morning? It was this morning. The 50% of you, like you're here 50% for the movement and
Yeah.
50% for the conversation.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
That's the way it is
Totally.
sometimes for me.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's a fit day for me and I'm 50% there, but I'm showing up for me. I don't
Yeah.
have to show up for you.
Yeah.
I show up for me and I do what feels good for me in that day and what works in my schedule. Sometimes fit for me in a day is I get up, I have a smoothie, I make sure I have all my water, my massive jug,
Yeah.
and go to work for 12 hours
Yeah.
and come home and have a healthy, balanced meal and go to bed. And I may not get that much movement that day, but I'm making smarter choices.
Yeah. And the flexibility is the key component to your definition, but not having a definition is a definition in and of itself, and being flexible that it doesn't have to look a certain way. Same thing, fit doesn't have to look a certain way physically, but it doesn't have to look a certain way routine wise either.
Nope.
It feels, it's like my question for me, and something that I've been talking about the inner circle with the smaller group we have, at FLK Method, is like, what, and when you look at your routine and specific to FLK Method, your checklist, are they things that you need right now? You know, like, what do you need to feel good right now? Like you were saying, right? Like when you go for a walk, you feel good. Like there's some things that in certain times, in certain weeks, certain days, it makes sense. Like sometimes sleeping in as opposed to waking up early is
Yep.
the better choice.
Mm-hmm.
So I love your definition of flexibility, or not having a definition, but it's really about being flexible. But that is what has allowed you, whether you know it or not, that has has been supported you and allowed you to be consistent. And I want to just make sure that you know that you're consistent, because I think a lot of my clients don't view themselves like that. And that's another reason why I wanted to have you on here, is because you are so consistent. Consistency is just a matter of continuing to show up, whether it's a month apart, a day apart, a week apart, a year apart. You don't, there, unless you stop showing up, right? So you're consistent for that reason. And I could name plenty of people and have come across plenty of paths of people who are not consistent, whether it's with their health or anything else, people that say one thing but do another. And
Yeah.
so for you, I want you to celebrate that in some way. And maybe even, I know what you were through this bikini boot camp, you were doing mantras, like 3 a day of kind of
Yes.
the, yeah. I think part of adding something to your mantras is like, I am consistent.
I did start doing that. Was it the one you did in May about mantras?
Yeah, the mantras for mental
And
health.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes. I had listened to that one because I'd fallen behind, and I listened to that one, and I started incorporating and thinking about more things, about being more intentional with what I wanted and bringing things into my life that I want. So sometimes my mantras will look something like, I am worthy,
Yeah.
or I am loved, which for me is really hard.
Yeah.
And sometimes it'll be something like,
Why does that make you, what, when you start to get upset, what are you feeling? Like, why does it make you, because it's almost like you say it, but you don't believe it. You,
which is why I say it,
yeah.
because I want it to come into existence.
Yeah.
And I don't want the negative thoughts. So if I put more positive thoughts into my head and say things
Yes.
like that, it will eventually completely wash out the negative ones. And that's why, because
Yeah.
it's a struggle in my head. It really is. And I hear things like what you say about, being consistent and being a really good part of the crew and the team. And I don't I don't feel it.
Yeah.
And that's, so for me, it's kind of been a mental struggle
Yeah.
lately, a lot. But I have been through a lot where I put myself out there.
Yeah.
I want to treat you how you want to be treated and how I would want you to treat me. And so I'm very kind, I'm very giving, I'm very loving and very open with people. And people are not always that way.
Mm.
And sometimes I feel like I don't get that reciprocated. And so then, or maybe what it is sometimes in relationships, whether they be friends or people you'll have, or coworkers, you'll give what you want and what you think they want.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe they are giving you and showing you that they love you, but it's not in your language and it's not how you want to receive it.
Mm-hmm.
And when I say you, I mean me. And so it doesn't feel like love. It doesn't feel like I'm worthy enough of that love.
I have to say something to you right now because it's coming up so strong because it's something I've dealt with too, with the bridge of not loving myself to loving myself. And
Mm-hmm.
it was when I stopped looking for someone to love me the way I needed to be loved and understood that I have to love myself the way that I want to be loved first.
Yep.
Because if you're expecting that from other people, it's not a right or wrong thing. And it's really, you could also say, like, I can't expect that people will love me the same way. Like, sure. But what's more important is that a lot of the times you're not getting that type of love and respect because you're not giving it to yourself.
Yep.
And so that was a big thing that I noticed, or that I had to, it was like a bad taste in my mouth, like had to pill to swallow of, like, I have to love myself like that. Like, are
Right.
you kidding me? Like, is this for real? Like,
Yep.
but that's what it is. I
Yeah.
remember sitting in my bathtub, and I didn't even take baths. I was doing it like as a part of, self-care, and I was like taking a bath, and I'm like, I hate baths. And I'm literally like hugging myself. I remember sitting in my bathtub, hugging myself, thinking of, like, what the fuck am I even doing? And replaying over and over in my head all the stuff I've learned and read and heard, and really the one thing that I hadn't tried yet, the one thing I hadn't done yet, was loving myself the way that I wanted to be loved. And so I was like, well, got nothing left to lose. Might as well try it. And anytime I would think of something in my head of, like, oh, I waiting for this person to say this, waiting for this person to do this, waiting for the, anytime I would catch myself there, I'd be like, how could I do that for myself? It
Yeah.
changed everything.
I think, and while you were talking, it came to my head that that external validation emotionally is like the fucking scale.
Yeah. Yes.
You get on
Yes.
it and you weigh your worth and your measure on something that's external,
Yes.
that doesn't know everything that's inside.
Oh, I just got the chills. Yes, exactly.
And that's
Exactly.
hard. That is a hard thing for me. It is in progress.
Yeah.
I am working on it.
Yeah.
But it's still hard. It's still hard for me to say those things sometimes. I definitely, absolutely, without a doubt, love myself more now than I did 5 years ago, 4 years ago, 3 years ago.
Amazing. Let's get just a round of applause for that.
Woo! Where's the fireworks?
I know. I'm gonna have my guy that edits these put applause. Pause for applause. Okay. I don't know if he could do that. I'm just hoping. I'm hoping
Maybe.
that could happen. So wait, when you're in so you've made a lot of progress. You're still on this journey with clear, sounds like clear struggles. So when you're in that place of struggle, what helps to bring you back?
Sometimes it's just time.
Mm,
Um, sometimes I just have to go through it to get through it.
yeah.
It's like doing a burpee.
Yeah.
You hate doing it, but you got to get through it. It's going to suck, but once you get through it, it's good. Other times, I'll go back and think about, because I've started writing down my mantras
Mm,
and other things. I'll look through those and I'll repeat those because those were said and done in moments of positivity,
yes.
and so that'll help. One of my big things, though, for me personally, it's my kids.
Mm,
I I've had some dark moments, and
yeah.
my kids are what keep me going. Dark moments suck.
They suck. And it's so they suck and just hearing you say that makes me so emotional because I'm like, I want you to understand that it's so much more than your kids. Like, there are so many people who love you, and there are so many people you haven't even met yet who
Yeah,
love you and who need your energy and your presence. And I think that's the sort of enemy within us all, downplaying our importance.
absolutely is. Yes. So there's more than just my kids. And in those moments of abundance, I know that there's more than just my kids.
Right.
But when it gets dark, everything gets kind of shut out and it just comes and narrows down. And it's like, that's my stopping point. That's the furthest that I've allowed it to go, was to where it's
Hmm.
just me and my kids.
Yeah.
And then as it gets brighter again, I can start to see and everything comes back in. I know in my heart, and that's the heart and the head are so different.
Yes.
They're so different.
Yeah, well, because you can rationally say, right? Like, oh, it's like when you say like, oh, just, it's all like the fitness stuff too and the wellness stuff. Like it's like, oh, just drink enough water. Or, oh, just like have a
Oh,
healthy breakfast. Or oh, just wake up early. Or oh, just get 15 minutes of movement in. Or even, just do if you can't get 15 minutes,
just do
how
it.
about you? Yeah, and it becomes like we know. I've been
Hmm.
in those times too. Like I know exactly what to do. I can't do it right now. And
No.
I love that you just didn't give like a canned answer, but you literally said when I asked what brings you back, you were just like time. Sometimes you just got to be down there in the trenches and let yourself be in the trenches and you'll come back out.
Yep. I think there was a country song in the early 2000s, 90s. I'm terrible with names, but it was, if you're going through hell.
Mm,
If you're going through hell, keep on going.
yeah. Yeah, because you
And
don't want to
that's
stay there. Don't stay there.
no, no.
You don't want to get
Look, it's
stuck.
already almost hell weather out here.
Yeah, you don't want to get stuck there.
If
What
you
are
don't like the
some,
weather out there, get right with yourself.
there you go. Um, what are some, so like FLK method and then the checklist is, and your
Mhm.
definition of fitness and wellness is all about kind of small things, right? What are some doable things you could do like today? What are some small wins or moments of progress that have helped to keep you motivated?
When my water check and the smoothie and salad check come off of my checklists, like permanently, they have been off. Like they have been off. Like, nope, you don't need to check your water. You do that all the time. Nope, you don't need to check for a salad or a smoothie. You do that all the time. Like
Yes.
when those things start creeping off, that is your way of telling me it's like an external
Oh, there it is. It froze again. You're back. You're back.
okay, those checks when those come off,
Hmm.
those are like external validations of my progress.
Yes.
Like you don't need to check this anymore because you do it all the time now. It's become a part of my everyday.
Okay. I love that that's external motivation, but what about your motivation? Since
Look,
we're since
I'm
since we're going
I'm
there.
freaking thirsty all the time.
So I mean, if there's people listening that have never done my checklist before, so essentially, like when you're building your routine, sometimes you need reminders and
Yeah.
accountability to do very basic things. So what Christina was just saying is that, when she gets to a place of not needing accountability for things like water, to have like a smoothie or salad, or that like she feels like that's a small win that gets you motivated. Because when you're in the trenches or when you're first coming out of the trenches, even that stuff is difficult.
Yep,
So being
it
able
can
to do
be.
it feels like a win. It is a win.
It is. No, it absolutely is. And the thing that I want to remind everybody is that what's difficult for you might be difficult for somebody else as well. But and flip that, what's easy for you might be difficult for somebody else.
Yeah.
So like I know my water is really easy for me. I know
Yeah.
you hate drinking water.
I don't hate it. It's so hard.
Well, it's hard.
I guess does that mean that I don't know what it means. It just means I'm not a thirsty person.
Oh, that's so funny. It's so weird.
But also like, do you remember drinking water when you were a kid? Because I never drank water. I don't even have water in my house. It was just like No one got water. You're drinking soda or juice, or we didn't even drink.
We
I didn't drink water.
what are you talking about? We were drinking water out of the hoses.
Exactly. Or like out of a faucet. Like you just put in your mouth under there and opening the
Right.
tap and that was the water. Like I don't
We weren't carrying around water bottles, that's for sure.
definitely not $40 water bottles. I
Heck
mean,
no.
pretty sure it's all a scam, but hey, you know,
Because they turned
we're
off all the
here.
water fountains.
Yeah, exactly. What happened to the water fountains? Actually, those are really gross now that I think about it.
I mean, now that you think about it, yeah, but that's what it was. At home it was the hose and at school it was the water fountain.
Yeah. All right. So you gave someone advice. You gave someone advice about the scale not sort of determining value. What other advice would you give to someone who's struggling but is striving to get motivated or stay committed or be consistent? Like what advice would you give them based on your personal experience?
Oh, that's a good question. Um, I there's not a one fits all size answer. There's
Yeah.
really not because everybody's on their own journey and struggles differently. Some people need an external help and an external kick in the pants.
Talk to the woman who has tried everything and feels like nothing is working and she can't and she just finds herself always kind of defeated and not able to stick with any workout sort of movement routine, not eating well, like that person that's just constantly in this spiral cycle that just feels like nothing works. Talk to that person.
Oh, you want me to talk to myself? Okay.
Exactly. Yes. Exactly.
It is. It is. It is. I mean, we joke, but it is because I do go through that vicious cycle of nothing is working. I do this. I do all the checks. I do all the things. I check in. I don't use beach passes hardly at all. What the hell is going on? And it's very frustrating. It can become very self deprecating. What I would say to myself or to that person is to keep going, take small bites,
Mm,
one day at a time, one moment at a time. What
yes.
can I do right here? Okay, I can have a glass of water while I think about what my next move is. I can, it's just, it really is, and I know it's cliche, it really is the little things that add up because you can go and run a marathon. Well, not me, but somebody else can go run a marathon and still not have that fit, healthy mindset
Yeah. Yeah.
and not be doing all the other things. My advice, check your checklist, check yourself, grab some fruit, grab some vegetables. If you don't feel like working out because the 30 minutes is too long, go do a 5, 7 minute class.
Yeah.
It, do half of a quick fire,
Yeah.
do something
I love that
to get
advice.
out of your head.
The half of a quick fire is so good. Sometimes I'll tell people like, you're at home. Just turn it off after 10 minutes if you're not.
Right.
The hardest part is to turn on the workout. And once you're in
Yes.
there, listen, if you want to turn it off after 5 minutes, great. You did a 5 minute workout.
Yep.
If you want to stay for the whole 15, stay for the whole 15. But everything you're saying right now, the message is to not overcomplicate it.
Yep.
Move a
It's
little
not
bit.
complicated.
Move a little bit. Eat some fruits and vegetables. It's actually when we complicate it, that's when we get into the trenches.
Yep. Those complicated, look, those recipes, they're banging. Those FLK,
Yeah,
BDK recipes, they're banging.
they're
I
good.
don't have that capacity sometimes.
Yeah,
So sometimes it is literally a piece of chicken and some fruits and vegetables on my plate. It's
yeah,
not a big old mixed up meal. It's just something simple
yeah,
because that's where I'm at.
yeah,
And that's okay. Because it's a whole hell of a lot better than the donut or the McDonald's or the whatever's down the street.
yeah.
And I feel better after eating it.
There you go. And that's sort of what it kind of comes back to. It's when you feel like nothing's working, when you feel like no one loves you, when you feel like you're not worth it, you have to be able to define how you want to be loved. You have to be able to show yourself love. You have to put in the effort for yourself. You
Yep.
have to decide how you want to feel. No one is going to come and do it for you. And I think a lot of people feel like they're failing or they can't stick with anything is because they're placing their power on everything and everyone else but themselves. This is building a routine and staying consistent is the ultimate empowering act. Like when you decide to do something and then you do it and you follow through, you begin to build confidence and you build a bridge. You build a bridge from nothing works and nothing is working and I can't do anything to I feel better. This feels
Yep.
good. I feel better. Today was a good day. Today sucked, but I made better choices today. And it
Right.
becomes that kind of conversation as opposed to like, I need to lose 20 pounds. I need to, oh my God, I can't eat after 7 p.m. and I need to wear a weighted vest and walk 25,000 steps and do 10 push-ups. And I need to, like that. Who wants, first of all, why would we want to be consistent in that hell?
No.
It's like find something
Constant or consistent, either
find
one.
something that you mostly enjoy. Not everything is 100, well, most things are not 100% enjoyable. I had to stop. I was like, well, some things are. So, most
if it's done right.
Most things are not 100% enjoyable in the fitness wellness. Okay, get your mind out of the gutter. Oh, Christina,
You brought me on here.
Christina also does. Can you tell us about the other type
Yep.
of you do?
I absolutely will. I was just thinking about that while you were talking.
Because I love this about you. This is like a fun fact about Christina that I think that all women should do at least one time. If not professionally, just for fun, like Christina does.
Just for funsies. I totally do it for funsies. Shock, FLK method is not the only way to get your fitness out and movement out there.
I mean, it is wild, but it's true. There are other options.
So I actually, for the last three years now, have been going and taking pole dancing classes.
I love that so much. Tell us about a little bit about that. Like when you started, how, like when you first went versus now.
It's hilarious. Same thing as FLK method. Some friend was like, hey, let's go do this.
You are very easily influenced. You're the fun friend. They're like, ask Christina. She'll do it.
She'll go.
She'll go.
Don't ask me to go running. Her name was also Jamie. And she's like, well, let's go do something different. Because we used to go do, like, there was a group of us girls. We would go do Zumba classes together and things like that. And she's like, I want to go try a pole class. Okay, let's go.
Wait, pause, because it paused you. So she said you wanted to go try a pole class, restart. Say that again.
Oh, it paused.
Yeah.
So she said, hey, let's go try a pole class.
Mm-hmm.
I said, okay, you find it. Get me the information. We'll go. And so we did. And it was the beginner class. You sign up. It's like very, very basic. Introduces you to the studio, because not all studios are the same, just like not all fitness classes are the same. Not all pole studios are the same. Shock.
Oh.
And this one actually really, it kind of blends and melds into the FLK method too on a different level, but that's a side note.
We're pole friendly. That was my dream job. You know that. That was my dream job. I was one interview away.
What?
Listen, if Hooters hired me, that was my entry. I applied for a job at Hooters, and if they would have hired me, my life would have took a totally different turn. So shout out to Hooters. Anyway, they didn't hire me. They're closed down, I'm pretty sure. But like, I would have been a stripper. I would have been a stripper for sure. I was like, that looks fun. Honestly, I got to be honest.
I mean, you're talking about triangles and asses hanging out this morning. Yeah. So it doesn't surprise me.
Listen. You got to be who you are. Okay, so you went to this pole class for the first time.
So I went to this pole class, did the beginners. It was, for 4 weeks. and you can either join or not join. I liked it. I liked the aesthetic. I liked the idea, the whole thing behind it. And so I joined. And it's been a progress. And just like any other aspect of fitness, health, wellness, there's ups and downs.
Yeah.
Can I climb all the way up the pole now? I sure the fuck can.
I love that.
Can I go upside down? Fuck no. But that's okay. It's a progress. And everybody that comes in there, there's a girl that was in my beginner class that's there still. And we do the classes together sometimes, and we're on different levels.
I love a progress, not perfection as a motto for a pole dancing place. That's perfect.
Like, let's do this, let's do that. It's very like, it's a sort of sacred place. And I don't share my whole life with everybody, but hey, now everybody knows.
You don't share your pole life. That's such a good tagline. Like, instead of like, I don't share my whole life, I don't share my pole life.
Right.
I was just saying like, I don't know, we froze again, but I'm like, progress, not perfection, like for
Yes.
pole dancing place specifically. Like, I love this. I love it just because, I mean, again, you've got to be vulnerable. You've got to be like just yourself. You can't.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, you got to just be like fearless, and it's such a good. I mean, I've never done it in an exercise setting. That's another podcast. But I could imagine in an exercise setting, it's very empowering again because you're like, you're
Yes.
just
And that
putting
is
it all
her
out
whole
there.
goal. That's her whole goal, is to empower women
I love it.
at that studio. And I see that progress of the empowerment, because look, I'm not a skinny, thin little people aren't going to pay to come see me stripper kind of person. Like,
I
that's fine. That's my,
mean,
there are people.
listen,
Let's get some OnlyFans. But
listen, sexy is a vibe. It doesn't look
sexy is a vibe.
It doesn't look a certain way, that's for sure.
Well,
Sexy
let me
is
tell
a
you.
whole vibe. Sexy is just a vibe. It's an energy.
It is. And when I started going, I was very like tank tops, sports bras, like knee length biker shorts. You cannot climb a pole wearing knee length shorts.
Good to know. Thank you for that tip.
Or leggings. You need that skin on the pole.
Ooh, ow.
They're pole kisses.
Okay. Well,
but now,
yeah.
short ass booty shorts.
Love it.
And sometimes just pasties.
That's amazing.
And has my body changed that drastically? No. But my mindset has.
That's so important.
And that's what I do know.
What things make you feel good these days, and what's going to be, so what are some things in your summer routine?
What makes me feel good? That's a great question. I'll have to get back to you on that.
I think before you continue, right? Like you're in one of my programs right now, but before you continue, anytime you're building a routine or you're thinking about taking care of yourself, it has to start from that place. Like, what is going to feel good? Not in the moment. That's not in the moment, right? Like, what am I going to, I'm going to wake up tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
And I'm going to, she's like, wait,
That's
different question. Different question. When I wake up tomorrow, like in 3 weeks from now, kind of thinking a little bit in the future for like, what is going to help me feel good, not only about myself, but in myself on a day-to-day basis, like in my body, in my mind, like to keep my mind in a good quality place, anti-spiral, supportive of like less stress, less anxiety, less doom and gloom, more calmness, peace, right? Acceptance. Like what things?
That's definitely a different question.
Yeah.
So
totally.
One of the things that came to mind is actually talking with people. And not just me talking, but me listening. I feel good helping other people. Shock. I know.
Shock. I know. It's shocking. It's breaking news here on the FLK podcast. When you help other people, you feel better. Super. Whoa. What a concept.
I do. I feel.
Yeah, that's honestly, that's so good to even say out loud because it's a reminder to you that like when you're so in your head, like that, when you step out of yourself to help someone else, it makes you feel better.
Absolutely. Being able to be there for somebody else absolutely helps. We have, and I know that's not the full answer to the full question, but we are still, our last BBK that we did,
Yeah.
we still have our chat and we still text each other and check in with each other. And one of the ladies in the group was having a really hard time this last week, and so she just checked in with us, and that love, that camaraderie,
Yeah.
that feels good, knowing that somebody else feels safe.
Yeah.
That feels good. And that's like the mindset of feeling good.
Yeah.
And the heart, the feel good for a routine in a day for me, knowing that I did my best.
Yeah.
And my best does not always look the same.
Yep. That flexibility again.
Yep, that flexibility again. It's so, there are people that have 9 to 5s that have a lot of other things going on the outside too, and maybe don't need as much flexibility. But there are a lot of people who do need it.
Yeah.
And just being kind to yourself and saying, okay, this was my plan for my meals today. It didn't happen, but I still had good food that still felt good to me.
Yeah. I think I want to end this by reiterating and giving a little bit of more of a structure to anyone listening who has gone sort of back and forth on and off, aka 99% of people. There's a place called the gray area. And when you're there, a lot of dark things can happen. And a gray area comes from indecision. It comes from not knowing, not planning, not executing, and just not trusting yourself. And so when it comes to building your routine or being fit, living a healthy lifestyle, for me, lately, my definition is it's a yes or no question. I don't want to obsess over food. I don't want to obsess over the way my body looks. I don't want to obsess over how much cardio I'm getting in. I don't want to obsess over anything, really.
No.
But when it comes, because it's such a terrible feeling for your mind to be consumed, especially about food and workouts. Like that's the last thing I want to be thinking about. So how do you get out of that? How do you be a little bit more on like a calm waters instead of this like violent up and down? And it really, for me, it's getting out of that gray area. Set a plan for the day and it's a yes or no. It doesn't have to be for the rest of your life. It doesn't have to be for a month. It doesn't have to be for a week. How does Christina establish at the end of the day if she did her best? Well, the night prior or the morning of, there needs to be something established outside of a gray area. These are the things I'm going to do that maybe they're not that specific, right? Because you can't have that much structure on a certain day. Maybe it's just kind of more general things, but it's still a yes or no, am I going to drink enough water? Yes or no, am I going to have a healthy breakfast? Yes or no, am I going to put my phone away after 8 p.m.? What are the things that you can say yes or no to that at the end of the day, you can say, oh, I did my best today. And how do you know you did your best? Because you set a plan out and you followed that plan that you set out. And I really think if you're struggling right now, ask yourself if you're in a gray area. Do you set out to do something? And then when it comes up on a decision that might go against your goal or what you said you were going to do, you're like, should I do it? I don't know if I should do it. Do I want to wake up? Do I want to not have a drink at this party? When you allow yourself to be in that gray area, that is when you begin to struggle, obsess, stress, become anxious, and essentially go into those trenches because forget about everything else, body, routine. Stress is not sustainable. It will kill you.
Yes.
Literally. So if your wellness routine is stressing you out, guess what you have to do? Change it.
Planning has been the biggest. Tried the planning down to the minute, down to the detail
Yeah.
hour. And because of my flexible life, that doesn't work very well for me. But sitting there and planning and looking at my checks, okay, I know I'm getting water today. I know I'm going to have a smoothie for breakfast. Okay, I know that I'm going to move my body in some manner or fashion for at least an hour today. That's flexible.
Yeah.
I'm going to make sure I get an hour. How that looks during the day is going to be what's going to be flexible.
Yep.
Is it going to be a quick fire, a long walk, like whatever it's going to be, but it's going to be an hour. Am I going to have alcohol today? No, I'm not. Like, and that's a choice that I make either the night before or that morning.
Yeah.
And I stick to it. And that's how I stay consistent, not constantly, because, hey, Friday night comes, we're going out. Yep. I'm going to have no more than 2 drinks.
Love that.
But I'm making that choice ahead of time so that when I get there, I'm not having 5, 10 drinks. I'm having 2 because that was what I said I was having.
This is a one day at a time job. And you are
Absolutely.
your most important job. And just like you said, that reaching out to people is what makes you feel better and connected and providing a safe space for people and providing support for people. I want you to think about doing that for yourself.
Oh, I saw that one coming.
Provide a safe space for yourself. When you start to be hard on yourself, when you imagine that person in the group texting with that same issue, and how would you respond? It is not going to be like a punch in the face and like a punishment. It is going to be supportive. It's going to be safe.
Yep.
It's going to be, it doesn't have to be like a soft pillow. It doesn't have to be a coddling, but it can be a supportive honesty.
Right.
It could be a supportive honesty, and continue to bring it back to you. Don't look for anything or anyone else. When you find yourself searching for an answer, searching for someone to help you, save you, any of that, let me tell you right now that you are one of the strongest women I know based off of knowing you for 20 minutes. I don't even have to know you for 5 years. So everything you're looking for, you can find for yourself. Being able to be so honest and open and share parts of your story is just even one indication of how strong you are, because that's one of the hardest things to do. So anytime you're doubting yourself of your capability, you can just remind yourself of how open and vulnerable and on it up front you are with people. Like, that takes a tremendous amount of courage and honesty. So you have everything you need within you, and everybody listening has everything they need within them.
They do.
So anybody who is listening to this right now, that is in a struggle right now, you have everything you need to pull yourself out of it. And if Christina is not sort of just the pinnacle poster child of consistency, I don't know who is. Thank you so much for sharing your story with us today. Resilience, honesty, vulnerability. We just kind of scratched the tip of the surface, but I believe it was enough to help some other woman out there today. And that's really all we can do. Before we leave, any other words of, can you get the FLK mantra deck?
Yes. I can get that.
Let's see what the we're gonna pick a card, and she's gonna come back. So I have this deck. What is it called? Hold on, I have one right behind me. It's called Just FLKing Do It.
Just fucking do it.
Yep, there are 44 FLK isms to remind you of your strength, inspire you to do better, and to focus on what you can do one day at a time. Literally everything we've been talking about. So Christina pulls 3 of these every morning. So today, before we end the episode, that's what we're going to leave you guys with. I can't wait to see which one it's going to be. Am I going to pick the card, or are you going to pick the card?
Well, if you don't mind, I actually had something else if we could do 5 minutes.
Oh, okay. Let's do it. I love this curveball. Perfect.
So I did this behind the scenes, and we'll do this before I pull the cards. Behind the scenes, I asked some of your crew. We're going to do rapid fire questions on Krys.
Oh, boy. Okay. Love that. We love surprises, My favorite thing.
And I knew that you'd be up for it, so
Of
it's fine.
course. Let's go. Hit it.
All right, what is your favorite color?
Blue,
Really, not green?
not green.
Okay.
Blue's in my heart. Green's everywhere, but blue, you know why blue's my favorite color? Because it rhymes with two, which used to be my favorite number.
Yes.
So you got to go with your childhood. Blue is
Okay.
always my fave.
Blue.
Yeah.
Now we know. What is one food that you will never eat?
Octopus.
Octopus.
Yeah, it's actually a really Latin thing. And my mom, oh, I'm just getting like a little nauseous talking about it. But she used to like eat it. It's like a popular salad, and you eat like just the little pieces of the octopus, like tail or whatever. What are they called?
Hmm.
Tentacles in the
Tentacles.
salad. And it used to like stick to her tongue, and she used to like stick her tongue out, and the little tentacles weren't. So I'm scarred, but also just don't generally love seafood. But I will
Thanks for
try.
that image.
I will try mostly anything, but I'm never eating octopus. Bye.
Okay. Okay. Good to know.
Yep.
A little bit more on the serious end. What, where do you find your inspiration?
From you guys. This is my
Oh,
FLK method is a business built on me needing accountability to take care of myself. And when I don't feel like doing something, it's almost like this is all working in exactly the way it's supposed to, because I can tell you that the moment I start to get tired or just weary or just in my head, or did I do this right or did I say this right, I will get a text, an email, a DM. Somebody will say, "Oh man, that thing you said on the podcast," or like, "Oh man, I really needed that class." And someone will, and external validation is important when you're providing a service, right, to
yeah.
people, right? You want to make sure it's working and people are getting things out of it. And just like anybody else, I get in my head and I'm like, is that valuable? Like, I'm telling you to drink water. You could do that anywhere, right? Like I was saying this morning in class. So for me, my inspiration, and I've said this sometimes in classes, like, of course I have to show up to teach, but when you guys show up to the live classes, that inspires me more than anything. It's the most inspiring thing ever. It works both ways.
Oh, so turn
Yeah.
on your cameras.
Yeah. Thank you.
I'm the worst. I never turn it on.
Now you are. Those days are over.
Okay, next question was along similar lines. Because especially since you have a crew of teachers now,
Yes.
what do you do when you don't feel like working out? How do you get there and make yourself
Uh,
do it?
well, I can tell you that I never feel like working out. I can confidently say that. I'm never like, ooh, working out. What I am excited to do, which I never get tired of, is like having fun with people. And so if I'm feeling like tired or like I woke up with my period or like I'm just like, oh my God, this is the last, I'm like, I have to immediately make it fun. If it's not fun, I don't want to do it, which is why a lot of my classes are fun, because if it's not, I am not there to do burpees. I'm there to have fun and do burpees, all contrary to popular belief. Like, I'm not waking up pumped to get a workout in. I do like the
Huh.
results of the movement too, right? Like that's motivating to me, because I know what certain things can do. So that's another source of motivation. I'm like, if I do this thing, my legs are going to be stronger, right? Like I'm going to be able to.
Yeah.
But for the most part, if I'm in my head, it's like I almost have to like shake it off and do a spin and just like, how do I make this fun? Like I got to start telling a story or tell a joke, or we got to go into funny mode.
Yeah. I like it. That was this morning for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. Totally. And this morning was that kind of day. This morning I woke up like I didn't wake up late, but I started getting ready for classes late, and there's such a short transition between the 7 and the 7:30. I
Yes.
was just like, whew, to go like back to back like that, it's still difficult to this day. So I'm like, What am I talking about? Because we're about to crush our triceps. Like, I don't want to focus on that. I don't want to
No.
think about that. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So Krys has trouble working out sometimes too.
There
Good
you
to know.
go.
You're human.
Yes, I am.
Krys is human. Last question.
Awesome.
There were 5. So the last question is, how do you handle situations when you are around people that you do not like?
I feel like this is a setup. When I'm around people that I do not like, what does that mean? Like,
She wasn't very specific,
okay,
but so I mean, obviously when you're around people out in public and you don't like somebody, you can just walk away. But okay, maybe let's reword this a little bit. Have
okay.
you ever, and I'm sorry, Susan, if this is not how you wanted it answered. So have you,
There's so many Susans that we don't even know
she
which
won't
one
know.
that is. There's 25 Susans at FLK Method.
How have you ever, maybe I'll make it 2-part. Have you ever had a client that you just did not like and you're thinking, what the fuck, go away?
No, no, and I have had clients that um I have felt take advantage of
Mm,
how much I give because I will give. Like when someone tells me they're going to cancel their membership because they can't afford it, I'm like, I will give you 3 months. Like if that's the
yep.
real reason and I'm very generous.
Yes.
And I feel I have felt taken advantage of by people who did not need to take advantage of that at all. Like I fully
Mm,
knew they didn't need to. And that it doesn't make me not like them. It just makes me like it's a little bit disheartening, but
okay.
it's also like, you also I can't take anything personal. I used to take things personal, but now it's like I feel like there's more of a chance of people not liking me than me not liking them. I don't have any reason not to like anybody. Um, I
Ew.
yeah, like I feel like people might not, because I remember not liking people because they were happy or because they had a certain success or because whatever. And sometimes you can project and not like yourself being around someone because they're doing or saying or being what you want to be. So you don't, right? So, like, that's why I'm saying there's more of a chance of someone not liking me. I cannot remember a time where I was just like, not that I didn't like somebody. I really can't. Like, I don't even know. Maybe in college, other than like if we're talking about women, like men, I have a list. I could
Okay.
go through a whole list,
So
but
what would you,
I mean, I don't care about how they feel, so I don't have to change. Like, I'll let they know.
yeah.
People, like any people know how I feel. That's actually the answer to that question. Like, it's not a mystery. I don't try to pretend that I like you if I don't like you. So there's no like, how do you handle that? I don't handle it. I continue to be myself in every situation. Yeah.
And that goes back to where you had said, not today, obviously, but you had said once upon a time with the whole let them theory,
Mm-hmm.
tell them,
Tell
then let
them.
them.
There you go. Tell them. Tell
Tell them,
them.
then let them.
Yeah.
Perfect. Love it. Thank
Thanks,
you.
crew. Love that for me. Okay, let's pick a card and this
Okay.
hour-long
Let's
podcast.
edit. Here we go. Ready?
Yes.
Let's shuffle these up a little bit
You're
more.
wearing my favorite color too. You
I
didn't
didn't
even
know.
know. You didn't
I
know.
didn't know.
Meant to be. And your nails are blue. Look at this. And I have a blue hat. We're just all in the
All
universe.
in on the blue today.
Yeah. Okay,
Okay.
ready?
Just fucking do it.
Yeah.
Says, oh, someone out there would give anything to have your body.
Ooh, that's a good one to end
Mm,
on. Ain't that the truth? There's someone out there right now that can't see, that can't walk, that can't lift their arm because they got shoulder surgery, that can't eat certain food because their digestive system is all fucked up. Like there are so many, because I know I've had clients when I've said that to them be like, like challenge me on it. And then I'll say a couple things and they're like, oh, you're right. There is someone that is in, it doesn't matter what situation you're in. There's someone out there that would switch bodies or lives with you in an instant. So that is a great reminder of gratitude to end on. And I'm grateful for you for sharing your story. I'm grateful for the crew for throwing that little 5-question curveball. I appreciate that. I love answering questions. Christina, also, I promise we're going to end this podcast, but you started a podcast. Are you still doing it? Well, Christina started a podcast not too long ago, and I just wanted to. Oh, wait, she's back.
I'm here.
She's back. Okay.
No, you're back.
You're back. Okay. One of us keeps freezing. Okay. You started a podcast.
Call Verizon, fix it.
You started a podcast. Are you still doing it?
I started a podcast. It has been paused for a few months because there was some shit going down.
Okay.
And I am gathering stuff back up to get that started again and going. And I will catch everybody up on all of the things that have happened.
What is the name of the podcast?
Miss Bus Driver.
Love it. That's so good. Also, can I just say, Miss Bus Driver, it can be about obviously whatever you want it to be about, but what if also you include just stuff about your journey and your health stuff and being a bus driver and taking care of yourself? That's a whole other thing.
It is. And I have thought about reaching out, and I want to get other bus drivers on and other people in other aspects and walks of life. And so hopefully it'll grow.
Yeah.
It will grow. It will grow.
Well, what do you have to do to make it grow? And forget the other people. You have to show up for you.
I have to show up for me, and I have to make the time for it. If it's not important, I won't make the time for it.
There's just so many lessons in this podcast. And before people get confused at what lesson they're leaving with, we're going to end this right now. Thank you so much for joining Fit Like Krys podcast on everywhere you listen to podcasts. If you're not liked or subscribed, press the heart, click it, share it with someone you know who might be struggling, who's looking for a routine. Speaking of routines, you could join FLK Method anytime. Go to fitlikekris.com, click on FLK Method. Follow the join sign and you'll get all the information you need. And of course, I'm super accessible. I'm a real person. You can email me fitlikekris@gmail.com, fitlikekris.com. I'm here for you just like you are here for me. Thank you so much for being here. And thank you guys for listening. I'll see you in class. Bye.